Good morning, YouTube. Welcome back. We're not outside today, as you can see. I did go to a location to film, but it wasn't good. I didn't like the content after checking out the filming and all of that. I felt like it could have been better. For this week, we aren't going anywhere, but I do have something really awesome planned for next week. I do have a location that I want to go to this weekend for next week's video, so stay tuned for that. So what are we going to be doing today? I didn't think I'd be doing one of these videos, but I decided I did want to weigh in and give my opinion. We're going to talk about 7 reasons why you should live in Korea, why you should move here, and why it's a lot of fun. Why 7 and not 10? Well, because I want to be different. Let's get started. All right, the first reason, the food. The food is so good. Give it to me. Oh my god, you guys have to understand. I've shown a lot of food on this channel, not just snacks, but also restaurants and stuff. And I even ordered food for delivery, which I'll talk about in a little second. And you can see any of those in different videos that I have. But I want you guys to know how awesome the food is. Like, Korean food is so amazing. It's so good, especially if you love spicy food. But that's not the only thing. A lot of people will say, well, what if you get bored of Korean food? You don't want to eat samgyeopsal, you don't want to eat tteokbokki. That's fine. Moving to Seoul specifically, all right? Not in any other region. I don't know for other regions, so I'm sorry for that. But specifically in Seoul, you can find food from almost every country. Every country, you'll have no problem. Now, whether some of those restaurants are authentic or not, or whether the quality is as good as your hometown, that's debatable. But I think if you lived here long enough, you can find a restaurant that suits the taste of whatever food you're looking for eventually. When I first moved here, I didn't think I'd find any style of Mexican food that was delicious enough. But I did. I ended up finding some restaurants that were actually pretty legit, pretty good, and learning that I could also order some products to make Mexican food at home as well. And then going into the food delivery system, it's so amazing. You can order any food you want, and it comes pretty quickly. The delivery system here in Korea is top-notch. They got a bunch of people riding mopeds at lightning fast speeds, ignoring all traffic signs, going on sidewalks. It's a madhouse. You'll get your food. Don't worry. They will bring it to you. So the fact that I wish I could show you the app, but you can see just how much food you can order on the food delivery apps. It's pretty great. It's pretty great. On to number 2, why you should come here. The cultural aspects. Cultural aspects here are really awesome. I did one video before. I think a lot of people enjoyed it, and I do want to go to another palace as well with the secret garden. But going to Gyeongbokgung is a lot of fun. Wearing the hanbok was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. It's a little hot, but that's fine. But there are other cultural aspects as well, not just like the palaces, not just wearing the hanboks. That's kind of, I guess a lot of people do that when they first come here. But kind of traveling to other parts of the country, for example, Gyeongju, where it's like a very, very historical area of Korea, where one of the top kingdoms used to reign, Shilla Kingdom, or dynasty, I should say, not kingdom, maybe kingdom. But yeah, there's a lot of different other smaller aspects, like also as well with the food. I mean, it ties into the food. There's a lot of cultural aspects within the food as well. But just all the things that you can see that you normally maybe wouldn't see in other countries. For example, like, I come from America. There's not really any cultural aspects at all. America's pretty new, so it's kind of hard to see culture. I mean, there are old things to see, of course, but it's just not the same. So that for me has also been really cool. Going on different hikes as well. That's not exactly a cultural aspect, but kind of really integrating yourself with the country by going to all these different places and trying out some traditional things. like there's a lot of different classes you can take at the different Hanok villages, like how to make pottery, how to make makgeolli, how to do some of the golden embroidery on some bags and clothes and stuff like that. There's a lot of different things that you can do to kind of immerse yourself with the culture, and it's really cool. It's really, really cool. It's a lot of fun. On to number 3. Now this one is really cool too. It's a more modern touch, and it's, I guess, specifically from certain people. But coffee is so big in Korea. Coffee is like one of the number one things people do. They go to coffee shops, and it's incredible. There's a coffee shop on every block. Where I live, where my work is, there's a Starbucks underneath the building, and there's a takeout coffee shop that is right around the corner. And if you go down a couple 100 meters or so, there's a Coffee Bean. It's ridiculous. There's just so many coffee shops all around. Even across the street from my building, there's a Bekdabang, there's a Beck's Coffee, there's an Idia. There's like so many coffee shops just where I live. And I don't live in a very huge, bustling area, but still, it's a lot. So if you like cafes and going to cafes, with friends or just alone, working, studying, whatever, Seoul's got it. And they've got non-standard coffee shops as well. I've also done a video for some of the very unique or secret cafes. Those are very fun to go to, and it's just nice. It's nice to kind of just go there and spend some time, maybe an hour or two, or like I said, if you're going with friends, maybe just chatting and all that. It's nice and relaxing. Of course, these days with COVID, it's a little different, but just as kind of a reminder, I'm giving a lot of these tips as to why you should move and live here pre-COVID, I guess, because I know that we'll be able to beat COVID and that we'll go back to some normalcy eventually. But that being in mind, just kind of understand that a lot of things I say are kind of not with the COVID measurements. So, number 4. Independence. Now, this could be debated as something that's not a reason to move here, and if I ever make a video why you shouldn't move here, I don't know if I will, but that would probably be on there as well, to be fair. Independence, what does that mean? It just means being able to live on your own and do things on your own. And coming to Korea, specifically if you're teaching English, I don't know about other jobs, but the fact that they provide an apartment for you and you're living alone in this apartment, you really kind of have to, fend for yourself a little bit. And it's nice. I enjoy that. And I really love my apartment, by the way. I dig it. I really do like it. It's a really cool apartment. But I am the kind of person that does enjoy doing things on his own and taking care of himself and all those things. Like, I love doing those things, that sense of independency. For people who are living at home with their parents or stuck at home or stuck with whatever they're doing and want some sort of independence, I would suggest come to teach English in Korea. Come move to Korea. You'll get that freedom. Again, if that's not something you're really particularly looking for, then I can understand why it's not something you'd want to do, or it's not something that would make you move here. But just because you're independent doesn't mean you're alone, all right? Like, there's some safety net here. It's just not going to be the same safety net that you're used to, like your family and your friends back home. You're not going to have them because they're millions of miles away. So it's just kind of getting used to it, but it's really allowed me to kind of take time to, find myself and do things that I want to do, like YouTube and all of that. So I've really appreciated it. I really enjoy it, and I like this. I think it's a reason why you should move here if you value that. So let's move on to number 5. Now, number 5 is for specific people and outside of the COVID guidelines. But Seoul has a huge nightlife. So if you're one of those people that loves to go out at night, stay up late at night, go somewhere late at night, then Seoul is definitely the city for you. Again, not these days, but pre-COVID, the bars and clubs are open till like 5 in the morning. Not all bars, but mostly clubs are open till about 5 in the morning or so. And yeah, it's whew, it's a time. Like if that's your thing, going to clubs and bars, then yeah, that is definitely a reason to move here. Because I personally don't like clubs or bars that much. I do go to a bar every now and then. Again, not these days. But yeah, I've had a few friends that love going to clubs almost all the time, every weekend. And told me that the clubs are pretty amazing here. So it's not from my experience, but I trust my friends' experience. So hopefully you do too. But yeah, if that's your thing, then definitely that's a reason to come out here. And on to number 6, transportation. It might be a kind of a weird reason why to move here, but coming from San Diego, God, the transportation in San Diego is trash. It is so bad. I can't tell you how many times I've waited for a bus that may or may not come, even though I was there at the designated time the bus should be there. Waiting for a bus in San Diego is kind of like gambling almost. It's like, oh, did it come before the time? Is it going to come after the time? I don't know. And don't get me started on the trolley system either. It's so coming to a country like this, where transportation is amazing, like a bus or subway takes you everywhere, and you don't even need a car. Again, specifically in Seoul, that was awesome. I love it. I love the fact that I can just go anywhere within the city, and it just costs like $1 basically. It doesn't even cost a lot of money, and it's very quick. I never end up really waiting that long for any bus or any subway. There might be like 1 or 2 subways specifically that take a little bit of time, but they do travel a little farther distances, and they kind of go to outside of Seoul. So outside of Seoul, it's a little slower. But yeah, I think that's, if you come from a country where transportation is not very good, definitely coming to Seoul or Korea in general, the transportation is phenomenal. It's so incredible. And there are other countries that have great transportation as well, but in my opinion, I just think Korea has it locked down in terms of transportation. It's so good. It's really incredible. Okay. Whew, we made it to the last one. All right, number 7. What could it possibly be? Atmosphere and pay. Let me talk about the pay first before I talk about atmosphere, before I explain what I mean by atmosphere. Pay. Well, if you're working as an English teacher, again, I had an old video about this, so if you guys want to check it out, that'd be cool. But I'll kind of just do a refresher. The base pay is about 2.1 million won, or $2,100, and you can make anywhere up to 3 million or $3,000 a month. And I make about 2.4, and I'm happy with that actually. The 2.4 that I make is quite good. So a lot of people might be saying $2,400 a month might not be a lot. It's not a lot. You also have to keep in mind that I don't pay for the rents. When you're teaching as an English teacher, you don't pay for the rent of your apartment, so you keep a lot of that money in reserve. And I can sometimes make some dumb financial decisions. So the fact that at the end of the month I'm not in the red, or not minus, or not at $0, even after making some dumb financial decisions, says a lot. It says a lot, because I think the pay is very nice. It's actually quite good for the job that you're doing. I don't know about other jobs specifically. I do know about some other teaching jobs, but like if you're looking to apply for a company, I have zero idea what the pay would look like. They're definitely not going to be sponsoring your apartment or anything, but I'm sure you would be making more than I would. I can almost guarantee that you'd be making more money than I would if you're going to work for some company. So that's another option too. If you want to move out here but you don't want to teach English, you want to actually look for a job in a company, then by all means do it. I think that would be also a really good decision. But the pay that I make for the job that I do and the living situation I'm in, I think it's perfect. I think the pay is actually really good, considering how the standard of wage or standard of living in Korea is pretty good as well. At least, again, for the amount of money that I make, because I don't go out to eat very often. I always cook at home, and I don't really do too much shopping, so I think that also factors in. But even if you're someone who likes to eat out pretty often, I think the pay is still pretty good, because food is not too expensive. to go out and eat. Now for atmosphere, what do I mean? So this is the last bit. Atmosphere is just the overall feel of living in Korea. I struggled with finding out what else would be amazing, because there are a lot of great things, and of course there are some not so great things, but I think overall just living here it's just really nice. I actually genuinely enjoy living here, and I genuinely enjoy my time here. It's allowed me to do a lot of things. It kind of goes into with independence, but it has allowed me to do a lot of things that I normally probably wouldn't have done. For example, let me show you. For example, let me show you. Like, guys, right now I'm making this meishu. This is it's a plum syrup. This has been brewing. I've been making this meishu, like I've been having it sit there and brew for like 3 months now almost. And that's just one of the things I wanted to try. I've made kimchi, I've made makgeolli, and a lot of people have seemed to like it, and I don't know, it's just a lot of things that I probably would have never thought of doing and experiencing if I didn't come here. Of course, these are Korean traditional things. But I started, YouTube, I've started Twitch. I've done a lot of things that like I probably wouldn't have felt like doing because I wasn't living alone. I wasn't finding myself and trying to figure out what I wanted to do. And living in Korea has definitely allowed me to do that. And I'm really appreciative of that. So I really do enjoy being here and immersing myself and finding things that I like to do. And I'll probably post videos more of like the meishu or making kimchi and things like that. And but yeah, like just everything about living here has been pretty good. Small things like the seasons. There's no seasons in San Diego. We don't have any seasons, but it's fall season almost, and it feels like fall, and I love that. It's really cool. So that's what I mean by atmosphere. There's just like a lot of different things that make living here really cool. And I hope that it'll be something that is very cool for you too. I hope that there'll be something for when you guys move here or decide to live here, that there'll be those small things for you too as well, that you'll be able to experience that. And again, it kind of goes into independency or just independence in general. But yeah, I hope that it will be something that you guys can actually, like. So that's been all the reasons why I think you guys should move here. Again, these are all kind of strictly my opinion, but I think some have some logic to it, maybe. But I hope you guys enjoyed this kind of more video specifically for people who aren't living here. So I'm sorry for all my friends and viewers who do live here. There will be a video next week as well, showing off more of Seoul. And again, for all the people who are not in Seoul as well. So I hope you guys enjoyed. We'll be back next week with another video. Again, leave in the comments below if you have any questions that maybe I could answer, or anything you want to maybe see or talk about. Just go ahead and drop a comment, man. Just let me know. I'd be happy to talk about it. If you like the video, give it a like. That'd be really cool. And if you like my stuff, all the other videos I talked about, then give that a little subscribe if you haven't. And thank you for watching. Bye.